Yo, what's going on, guys? Chadley here, and today I just want to talk about why I am incredibly disappointed with the new Guardian Takedown. This is something I've been looking forward to ever since the release of the Guardian Takedown, because once I got a taste for the takedowns, that's all I've ever wanted. I wanted one like every week, every month. I always wanted a new one, so it was nice after so many months to finally get one. And then we jumped in and found out how terrible just the execution of this takedown was, because mechanically and visually this takedown is amazing. It is way better than the Guardian Takedown in my opinion, but just the execution with how things work right now in Borderlands, it is not a very good time in my opinion. So I just wanted to talk about why I think those things, hear from you guys, and see how you feel about the Guardian Takedown, and also what Gearbox can do to change this here in the near future. So starting us off, the first reason I am super disappointed with this takedown is that there is absolutely nothing you can use basically in terms of builds except for the same old stuff we've been using for ever since 2.0 came out, and actually even less now because of the patch that went along with the Guardian Takedown. This patch created an even bigger imbalance of weapons in terms of usability, because right now there's about 4 instead of like the 7 or 8 we were able to use in the past. So right now basically everybody only uses Monarchs, Plague Bearers, and Backburners. A couple people still rock a Recursion, but I've been using that and I'm still not super excited about using it in the Guardian Takedown. Even after having the enemy mob health in the Guardian Takedown, I still feel like I cannot use any other weapons that are viable in just normal Mayhem 2.0 play on Mayhem 10. It just does not work. I always find myself just rocking like 3 Monarchs and just running around the 3 main elements and some random gun for whatever I feel like using. And it's just super disappointing because for me, I wanted to make different builds that could do the Guardian Takedown better in certain areas than others and just have fun with doing that. But right now, there's just absolutely nothing new you can do in terms of builds, which transitions us into the second reason I'm super disappointed in this Guardian Takedown. All of the gear that came along with it is not good. So the only like mildly cool thing is the Web Slinger. It sucks as a weapon. You can just kind of do some wall jumping with it, but to me, I didn't even really need that in my life. Maybe some of you guys will enjoy it, but for me personally, I don't really care too much about that. The Smog is just okay at best, even just normal 2.0 play, and in the Guardian Takedown, it's really not great. You would think being able to beat the hardest content in the entire game, the gear you're going to get out of it is going to be worth it, and right now it's just really not. All of those items need a severe buff because there's just no point of going through this 30-minute long takedown to farm these weapons, because if we look back at like the Guardian Takedown, we had the Redistributor, Kibsworth, and all these Mayhem exclusive weapons and class mods even that came with it, and now that we have the Guardian Takedown, there's no new class mods, and all of the items from the takedown suck. And right now, there's really only a couple Mayhem exclusive weapons that are usable, such as like the Reflux, Monarch, and Plague Bearer Backburner. So hopefully Gearbox sometime soon buffs those weapons, so I have more of a reason to spend 20 to 30 minutes farming this takedown. And on top of it taking that long to farm it, the drop rates are abysmal. I've done this probably a couple dozen times, and I've still never seen a Smog drop for me personally. I've only had them sent to me, and to me, with only 3 weapons that can spawn from the final boss, it is very disheartening to only have gotten 2 of them, and I've only gotten a couple in those couple dozen runs. It's seriously like less than a 50% chance of just getting one to drop, and then on top of getting a good part roll so you get high damage, and then also getting an anointment that's worth the damn is super, super disheartening. And then for my final reason why I'm not a huge fan of this takedown, and also probably the biggest reason in my opinion, is that their plan with how this takedown is going to become easier is implemented just confirms to me that their plan is to phase out all these old weapons and make you start using new weapons. And to me, with a game that advertises a billion guns and stuff like that, that there needs to be a lot of usable weapons, even in endgame. I know it's supposed to be the hardest content, but to me, there should be a good chunk of weapons that can handle it. I think Mayhem 4 was in an amazing spot. There were so many weapons that could handle the endgame, and every single week they were basically buffing a couple weapons, making them usable for endgame, and it was awesome. Every single Thursday, a huge chunk of people hopped online to see what is new and what's usable, and it was a really good time. I think that was probably the peak of Borderlands 3. But now, like I said earlier, we have like 4 things that can do this new endgame content. Everybody's already done the Guardian Takedown a million times. Everybody's already killed the existing bosses in the game a million times. And so now really the only exciting thing to do is to go build around the new Guardian Takedown. But we can't do that since they are phasing out these old weapons. And I personally think they should just be adding to the diversity instead of just narrowing it and shifting people towards the new stuff. Now, I don't think this is any sort of money grab for like making people buy the DLCs and stuff. I think this is just them trying to freshen up the game. But in my opinion, it makes it stale so much quicker. And I would love to see them change this here in the near future. Because even on Twitter the other day, Randy Pitchford tweeted, "Takedown at the Guardian Breach was very hard on launch. Data shows about 1 success for every 25 attempts. Today's patch relaxes difficulty a lot. And then they expect success rate to improve even more after the next DLC drops and people use the new gear they earn." So basically what this is telling me is that I am basically forced to use the new gear in this new exciting piece of content. So hopefully in the near future, Gearbox figures out the scaling issues, because it's not necessarily buffing these weapons, because there's a lot of usable things now after this phase 1 patch was implemented with the Guardian Takedown in just normal Mayhem 10 play. But the moment you start doing any sort of scaled activity, you are forced to start using these new weapons like the Monarch that I've mentioned a million times. Because if their plan was just to make the Guardian Takedown more difficult than any other piece of content in the game, they wouldn't have left items like the Monarch, Backburner, Plaguebearer, and Reflux completely untouched when they nerfed things like the Sandhawk and Chaosin. Because if you use those new weapons, things die pretty quick. It does not feel super difficult. But since they didn't, to me, that's just them saying, hey, you guys have to use these new weapons, and also stay tuned for the DLC to use the gear that you earn from there as well. But overall, those are kind of my main issues with the Guardian Takedown. So nothing is kind of all hope lost. This is stuff that Gearbox can seriously fix in a quick amount of time. But I would love to know what you guys agree with, disagree with. Let me know in the comments down below. I think it's really good to have a conversation here. Because whether you guys believe it or not, Gearbox does listen to the community, and they do want what's best for the game. So if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more Borderlands content. Otherwise, I will catch some of you over on Twitch. We stream every single night right around 8 Central Time. But have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next video. See ya!